the nuts and bolts of what we really do in our team, and that wasn't me that developed 10 directors. That was our team that developed 10 directors, and we really do this as a team effort. And I could never do this all by myself, so we do have the most amazing team. So first of all, with developing directors, it really starts with creating that desire. And for years, I was really good at creating that desire, but then there was some kind of breakdown. I had all these people on my team that wanted to be a director, and I had no one becoming a director or a leader in our company. It's kind of couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. So the desire part, I think you guys probably have that too. Oh, we did the director pile-ons at our meeting. We talked about how directors get free sample products. You know, we did all those things to create the desire. But somehow I didn't quite know how to bridge that gap between creating that desire and getting things done. So that's what's really come about in the past couple of years with our team. That as a team, we figured out how to make this work. And so through a lot of trial and error, but we figured it out. So it really starts with planting the seeds of directorship to create the desire. And if you think about that, kind of like you think about planting booking seeds at your shows and planting recruiting seeds at your shows. All you're doing is planting those seeds of directorship. So some of them are pretty obvious, but some of them might not be so obvious. It might be things you do, but you don't really realize you do. I think one of the success with us having so many fast track promotions on our team is that we are really good at planning the desire of directorship at the show. So when the consultant signs, they already know a little bit about directorship. And it can be as simple as just sharing a director paycheck at your show. You heard Danielle mention earlier how important it is to show people what we're earning in this company. So, show one of your checks as a director or one of your upline checks as a director. There's a couple ways to do that at your show. You can have a recruiting album and pass it around. There's an envelope game out there that I do that you share entry-level check and then the same number of shows later after you've built a team. And just planting that seed right from the beginning. So lots of people are coming into our team with that desire to have what they've already seen a little bit about at the show. Then it goes to, sharing planting the seeds of directorship, like at the interview. I'm always talking about it used to be page 10 and 11, I don't know what it is now, in the Join Us booklet where you show the 2 ways to earn. It's really important to show them right off the bat there's 2 ways to earn. One by selling products at our show, and the second by growing the team. So you're planting that seed right from the beginning. Also, planting the seed in the very first training call. And Esther does such a good job with this. Her words are really good. So I wanted her to share with you what we share in our team, exactly what we share when we're doing one of those first phone calls with a new consultant to kind of plant that seed from the beginning. So Esther, can you share that?
Yeah, toward the end of the call, I always say, one of the things I love about this business are the friendships that I've built and some of my closest friends I've met through Pampered Chef. And this is an amazing way for you to start something new and share that experience with a friend. And sometimes it doesn't always sound quite this fancy, but do you have somebody that you can think of who might want to try this with you and you learn together at the same time? And I've never had a negative response to that was a total no. Like, how you get those no's at shows that are like, no, and okay, back off. Or you get the, well, no, not right now. That's usually the no I get, is the no, not right now. And no matter whether they name somebody or they say that, no, not right now, I say, well, you sound pretty open to the idea of trying this with a friend and having a team member. I want you to know that we have a bonus program. If you add 5 team members in your first 90 days, you can get $500 in cash once, you guys have to meet a sales goal. And almost always I see this flicker of recognition, and they usually back up and say, no, I don't know, that's kind of quick. I don't know if I really know what I'm doing yet. And I say, well, you know what, I'll ask you again once you get comfortable, and know that you don't have to train anybody. You just invite people and I do all the work.
Perfect. So really planting those seeds right from the beginning. So that's how you move on to develop fast track directors, because you have to kind of plant that desire. And having fast track director promotions does not happen in the first 30 days. There's really nothing going on in the first 30 days other than planting the seeds and then learning how to do a show and get a show schedule going. So really most of the work for a new consultant to promote to director in their first 90 days is really happening in their 60 and their 90 days, not in the first 30. So just planting that seed. We plant it at recipe night. We share about what you can earn under Fast Track. We call the new consultants up and pass out the Fast Track to Director flyer. They see it in their kit. I think they get an email from the home office. It's online. They see it again at recipe night. just kind of keeping that in front of them. So we also talk a lot on our team. So those are ways that you plant the seeds. And also the director celebration is really big. It's simple, but it's a big deal because what happens is once you have a promotion or two going on, people are seeing what's happening. And several of the last directors that have promoted on our team have said to me, well, I saw Catherine up there and I knew I wanted that. Or, I saw Dana up there or Kathy up there. And I knew I could do that. I wanted that. So once you get it going, it kind of creates a lot of excitement in your team. So that, as a team, has led to a lot more growth in our team. But talking about the Fast Track program, we taught director in 90 days in our team, whether it's in their first 90 days or whether they've been in a year or 2 years and they now want to work on a promotion to director. I personally believe that if you do not have the show schedule to promote to director in 90 days, you do not have the show schedule to be a director. You've got to be to that point that you're doing enough shows to promote in 90 days, and then you're strong enough to maintain. But if you don't have that show schedule to do it in 90 days, you really don't have the show schedule to keep it. So that's what we really try to focus on, is that promotion in 90 days. Whether they're a brand new person and want to do it in those 90 days, or whether they're a more seasoned consultant, all it takes is 90 days to promote to director. And our company was talking this 90-day promotion before we ever had the Fast Track program. You guys remember Director Express, Director in 90 days, there's a formula, book 8, hold 6. That's the formula that you need and to teach the key skills that you heard Esther talk about. And when your consultants learn those skills, that's what gets the results. But they've got to be in front of enough people. So that really holding 6 shows is really key to be able to make that happen. So after you've planted the seed, then how do you really identify who to work with? Well, the first stage of identifying the interest, we do the structure chart. A lot of you guys have heard about that, where you just put that structure chart up of where your team is moving. So before we were an executive team, we had the structure of an executive team. Now that we're moving towards a senior executive team, we have a structure chart that shows a senior executive structure. And then it's on a big board up in front of everybody at the meeting. Ours is really simple. It's just with stars. It has the director names on the stars. But what that does for your team is create a vision of where your team is going, because you can't do this alone. You have to have your team to help you. So planning that vision and getting them to see themselves up there on one of those stars as a leader on your team. So that's a way to create the vision for your team, where your team's going. So a lot of times we'll do like a, do something to promote directorship, whether it's a directorship celebration or just a way to promote it at our meeting. Then we have the structure chart, and we'll kick a step-up program and, say, if you're interested, if you're serious or curious, you guys have heard that before, again, from the company, serious or curious about directorship, we invite you to come up here and put your name on the board and join our next step-up program so that you can learn the skills that you need to become a leader in this company. And so then they actually come up and put their name up on the board on a sticky note on a star. That's an easy way to identify people in your team that might be interested and to promote your step-up program. So the step-up program, I think, is one of the biggest keys in our team to developing directors. And I know when we kind of didn't have a lot of growth over a little while on our team and we weren't really going anywhere, Judy Joel kept saying, you got to go back to what was working. Well, I couldn't figure out what I had not done that wasn't working. And then a light bulb went off, and we had gone like a year and a half, almost 2 years, without running a step-up program. So think, have you run a step-up program for your team lately? That is huge to help your team members build the skills, all the skills that you heard Esther talking about, to help them build those skills. Because even though they might want to become a leader in this company, they don't know how to become a leader in this company. So really taking the time to teach them those key skills that they need. So we've been running step-up programs like crazy. I went home from leadership last year and launched a step-up program in the fall. And you might be asking, what is the step-up program? There is a step-up program online that Pampered Chef has. There's lots of programs running around out there. Somebody created 40 Minutes to Fabulous. There's Director in 90 Days, Director Express that the company had, Step Up, the Step-Up program that's actually online. Any of those programs, they all teach the same skills. Name it whatever you want. Name it something different every time, because you want your team members to be excited and take it again and again and again. So they think we're running a different program every time. It's just the same program with a different name and a different spin. So we run these programs like crazy, one after the other after the other. So what happens in those programs, though, is you see who calls in on every call or who comes to every meeting. Then you see who's doing the homework and who's booking their shows and who has the show calendar to work with. And that's how you identify who to work with. you got to work with people that are doing the shows. This business is built on the shows. So that's how I really identify who wants it. Then from the Step Up program, after you've done identifying who wants it, then you've got to identify who's willing to do the work to get it. There's a difference, okay? So when you identify those who are willing to do the work to get it, those are the people that you want to Velcro yourself to and spend all your time with and help them make this happen. So two of the biggest things I think that lead to director development in a team is belief and relationships. And no one believes that they can do this. They might say they believe they can do this, but nobody really believes they can do this because they don't know what they're doing when they get started. They don't know how to do this. And there's no way for them to know how to do this if you don't guide them on how to do this. So just staying behind them and letting them know that you believe in them. There's a couple different ways to do that, but your time, just working with them closely, shows them that you believe in them. But also going to a show with them. That is huge for a consultant that isn't sure what she's doing wrong or not sure, if they're doing the right thing. Going to a show with them, taking a night out of your time and your family to go to their show speaks volumes to them and the belief you have in them. And then also, recipe night is a huge thing on our team when we have someone getting close to promote. And we've done this with pretty much every director that's promoted in our team. I know the first one I ever did, Mary Moody's sitting out there, and me and her director, she was getting really close to her promotion. They're really close when they have two. So I think Mary had two. So we went up there, she's up in the mountains, we made a road trip up there, and Mary promoted in one night. Go and do a recipe night for that person. When Esther was getting really close, about 2 weeks before the end of the month, I went to Esther's home and we did a recipe night for her and for her team. And that's what it's about. The recipe night is for that person. And that shows incredible belief that you believe that they can do this. Because it's not a team recipe night for our team. It's a recipe night for that team. And so at that recipe night, what's happening is you are training their existing consultants. Their existing consultants are coming and bringing friends, hopefully. You've done that. And then they are inviting everyone they know. And I know, for example, at Esther's, all of her key leads that we were working with were no-shows that night. Something major happened, and I don't think any of them showed up. But some of her friends came, and we just had to invite everybody to eat. Just invite them, just get people there. Because something amazing happens when there's two or more consultants in a room. It's like, oh, well, she's doing this, and she's doing this. I might as well give it a try. I think it makes it seem easier and less like this huge decision, but it also shows them the support they're going to get when they come into this. They realize they're not doing this by themselves. So although her leads weren't there, I think we signed up one of the least likely people that you know to be a consultant. So something just magical happens when more than one consultant is in a room. So that recipe night has been huge in making almost every promotion happen that we've had in our team. So yeah, do that towards about midway through the month that we feel like they have the show schedule, and really make a big deal in getting people there to the recipe night. So just really showing them that you believe in them. And another huge thing in our team that I think has led to the growth that we've had is relationships. This is a relationship business. No matter how far advanced we get with technology, nothing can replace the relationships we have with people on our team. And people come into this business for products or money, but they stay for the relationships that are made in this business. So we have like a secret squirrel club in our director team, and we've done a really good job of promoting that to our team, and people want to be a part of that, and people work to be a part of that. And so we do a lot of things special as a director team. So, do that on your team. And if it's just you and one other director, because it did used to be just me and one other director. So do that with just one other director or your top performer. Just create that, group that works and that wants to build a business. And people are attracted to successful, busy people, and they want to be a part of that. So just the relationships are key. So working really closely with the people on your team that you see the potential in. Because when you believe that they can do it, their belief will eventually catch up with them. So I hope that kind of gave y'all some of the nuts and bolts that we do. But it's nothing new. It's everything the company has always trained.